Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
I'm here to save the day. I'm here to save the day.
Soon I will be invincible. Because comics.
Welcome to Because Comics. This is episode 46. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and I'm joined by my co-host, the lion-taming Mike Christensen.
Get back! Back, you beast! Back!
Oh, God, I did not think through bringing an actual lion in here to set up that joke was worth it. This was a horrible decision.
Yeah, it's all right, though. It's okay. You can find new roommates.
Yeah, I know. At least it satiated its thirst, right?
No, never.
No, not at all? That's not how lions work?
This one, usually, yes, but this one will never stop.
Oh, whoa. Is this the Nemean lion?
Yeah.
That one from Hercules?
Yeah, no, he's back.
Oh, wow.
He's back and he's pissed. Anyway, guys, we're going to talk about the comics that we're currently reading on our pull lists when we go to the store or the internet store. Jay, what should we check out?
Well, I would highly recommend Superman American Alien, written by Max Landis and art by now a lot of artists. So just to give you an idea of this comic run, currently, as of this recording, it's in its third issue. It is a 7-issue run, and each issue is with a different artist. So I'm going to give you the 3 artists up till now, which is Nick Dragotta, Tommy Lee Edwards, and Joel Jones. Now, the premise of Superman American Alien is... Now, I don't want to say it is an origin story, but what it is doing is it is taking the life of Clark Kent from when he was a young boy. I believe it starts when he was 9 or 7, and it basically comes in and out of his life at different important points of what makes Clark Kent Clark Kent. Not what makes Clark Kent Superman. So we're not like dipping into parts of Clark's life where it's like, that time I found my dad's old Superman outfit and then I just became Superman. Or that time I ran into Brainiac at the grocery store. Or, things that are pivotal cornerstones to Clark Kent's life becoming
I know
Superman.
you're joking, but I promise you those things have happened.
Probably. But basically what the premise is here is each time we're dipping into Clark's life, we're seeing a different side of him. And that's why there is a switch in different artists. Because, for example, the first issue of American Alien with Nick Dragotta doing the art is a lot more carefree. It's basically when Clark is a kid and the first time he learns to fly. Ooh. Now, in a lot of times we see this done in comics. He's just like, I'm running, and now I'm like flying, and I got it, everybody. Or I'm like jumping really high, then I fly. But this comic takes it like a little bit more literal, like... There's going to be times where it goes wrong, and I don't know if anybody's ever had the dream or the thought about, I know as a kid, of like, what would happen if you just started floating up? Like, what if you just started floating up and you just like couldn't go back down, like a hot air balloon, essentially? And this is actually something that occurs in the very first issue of the comic. He just starts floating up, and in this time when it happens, Ma Kent is holding on to him when he's going up. So it creates this, it's played off as a little bit like, goofy, but also there's some serious consequences to this scene as well, and some terrifying stuff too. And the whole first issue is really about him coming to terms with being who he is and learning this very obviously very important part of who he is, of learning to fly as a kid.
Right.
And each issue kind of skips ahead. The second one is about him when he's a teenager. Kind of, I would imagine, I guess he's 15 or 16. And what's really interesting about that issue is when he's dealing with the first time with almost... I don't want to say an opponent like, it's not like, hey, guess who's in this issue? A young Lex Luthor or a young Parasite. It's more actually, think of it like a local crime story, but for Smallville. Like almost like a drive-by, like some terrible group has kind of driven through Smallville. And it's even regarded in the comic as like, this never happens here. And a terrible event occurs, and Clark is kind of faced with this first time to think about like, well, what do I do? Like, what do I do with this kind of situation? Am I hesitant? Am I not? How far do I go? And there's a lot of cool stuff they play around with that issue. And again, completely different art style for a completely different tone and time in his life. And that's done by Tommy Lee Edwards. And then the last issue is when Clark accidentally is on his way to the Bahamas for the first time. It's his first time he's left home of Kansas. And he's on his way to the Bahamas. He like won a trip randomly. Pete, his old buddy, gives him some jabs about it.
Pete Ross.
Yeah. And he crash lands in the ocean because the plane goes down. And he ends up on Bruce Wayne's yacht. And they all believe him to be Bruce Wayne. Because the premise here is that Bruce Wayne has these crazy parties for his birthday every year, but he doesn't show up, and the joke's like, why? I wonder what Bruce Wayne's doing, and like flash to him training with like Ra's al Ghul. But like, it's basically a fun issue about like him kind of falling in love and having some romance and even some sexy scenarios as well for a first time. So again, another perspective of what makes Clark Kent, and a funny cameo from a villain, but it's played really well. Each comic issue is very interesting because it keeps you on your toes of like what you're diving into. You're not diving into the first issue of being like, and then he left Krypton, it exploded, and he landed Earth. Like the comics assume they're like, you know Superman's origin story, like you know this stuff. We're going to take a look at some of the things that aren't really explored, and especially in issue 2, there's some really interesting stories to tell that I think the writer, Max, does a really good job of towing the line between holding himself too accountable to the lore of Superman and also going too off the rails with it, right? So like if you're in like a dangerous situation and Clark has to have his first encounter, you have the danger of being Clark as a teenager being too like angelic, right?
Yeah.
Because then people they don't connect with him. They're like, oh, even as a kid, like he's almost like a Jesus figure, right?
Yeah.
But you can also have the other problem of him going almost too dark, and it's like, ooh, it's the dark Superman origin. And then I think Max does a really good job of towing that line, and the art obviously helps with that in a huge, huge way. And the other cool thing about this series, without going into too much more details about each of those individual plot lines, what I think is really cool is in each of these issues, they address Clark as being an alien as something that isn't a hugely guarded secret. Like even the first issue, Pa Kent confides in like a local sheriff. Not that he's an alien, but he thinks that the father's like going through a lot of stress and he's dealing with it, and he's talking to, I guess, a buddy essentially about like, my son's like, he's up in the air. I need some help, like getting him down or whatever. And like, it's very interesting. And like, even some of his powers are revealed to kids that he's around in the first issue.
Right.
And, they don't regard it immediately as like, he's an alien. It's like, oh, maybe it's like a gas pocket or something. But even later, when we've seen later issues, when he's obviously confided in his friends and stuff that he is an alien, it's really great in my opinion, honestly, because it's regarded as like, yeah, you're gonna tell your friends. Like as a kid, like sometimes you confide in your friends more than your parents, and especially with Pete, who's a really close buddy. There's some really great banter and scenes between him and Pete, and maybe like another friend like trying to hide alcohol or being teenagers, and them like joking with him about like being an alien, but not in a way of like bullying him, but like a way fun teenagers do. And there's a lot of interesting things that this comic does open up about Clark that's never really been explored in a Superman comic, and so far it's been a wonderful, enjoyable ride.
Great.
So anyone looking to get a little bit more meat on the bones that is Clark Kent without like, oh, I love Birthright and I love Action Comics and these things about Superman, none of that's touched. So far he has not once like put on a cape or done anything like that. It's not Smallville. Well, it's teasing like the Smallville, the TV show.
No, I
it's
know
not like it's
meant.
teasing at Superman.
Yeah,
it's giving you another side, and I think it's really something special. So I think please definitely check it out. Superman, American Alien, Max Landis, and a slew of wonderful artists.
Great, sounds awesome.
Yeah, Mike, what is your pull for this episode?
My pull is a Marvel comic called All New Wolverine.
I've heard about this.
Yes, written by Tom Taylor, art by David Lopez, and a little bit ago, Wolverine, unfortunately, left this mortal coil behind.
Yeah. And he will never return.
No,
never.
Pour one out for the homies. We'll mourn him till we join him.
Yeah.
But he also had a clone, a female clone who, and I'm kind of giving a little background for people who may not remember the character
or know about the character,
or don't know about her at all. A female clone who's sort of teenage. I think she's still a teenager. Named Laura Kinney, alias X-23, who is a female clone of Wolverine, and she's slightly different genetically. She's got 2 claws in her hands and 1 claw in each of her feet.
Oh, that's right. She does have claws in her feet. I forgot about that.
But basically, she's been going through her arc kind of through the pages of X-Men and through...
She was in X-Force quite a bit.
She was in X-Force when Wolverine basically turned it into this like Black Ops murder squad.
Yeah.
And then she was recently in the pages of All New X-Men, which was about the teenage versions of the original 5 X-Men coming to the present. And she started a relationship with... kind of like, flirting with a couple of the characters, but ended up in a relationship with Angel.
Oh, cool.
So in this comic, she's still in that relationship, but she's also taken on the mantle of Wolverine in lieu of his existing anymore. But yeah, it's interesting because at some point she started regarding Wolverine as a father and actually just referring to him as her father. Mm-hmm. And they really started that relationship kind of gradually because it took a long time for them to get even comfortable with the fact that the other one existed. But basically, her legacy is the new Wolverine, as his daughter of sorts.
Yeah.
And this first arc explores kind of her world because, Wolverine was very much tied into the Weapon X program where he got his, adamantium bones and claws and all the other friends of his who also had claws, who also hated
friends.
him. Yeah, they all hated him with a fiery passion. She comes from this very different backstory, but similar, where she was grown from scratch as a child to be a killing machine and like forced to kill her own mother, and like she has a much darker past than he does.
Than Wolverine?
In some forms, in some
Wow.
ways, because she is like concentrated rage. You know, she had like a
Did she also kill like many ex-wives and husbands? of time
no.
gone by?
She did a little time as a prostitute on the streets of New York when she was like 13. So like,
Sure.
she's had a rough go of it so far.
Wow.
But it's now about like, okay, she's a clone, and like, what is that experience like for her, and like, what is it like for her to? She basically encounters the equivalent of her kind of Weapon X analogs, kind of like exploring the world around her in the way that like when Nightwing became Batman, we had a new sort of status quo.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting to explore it in that sense. And we also have these
How the world mirrors that new version of that character.
exactly, and sort of, you know, she meets up with an Avenger at one point who regards her in a certain way, but has to sort of adjust the way he reacts to a Wolverine character because she's a different person.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting because there's a flashback in one of the early issues to a conversation she had with Wolverine about how like she didn't take a killing blow on someone that she could have, and he's like grateful that she's not just killing people that she doesn't have to.
I imagine.
And he says, "You're the best you are at what you do. That doesn't mean you have to do it." And that's sort of
Interesting.
what the mantra of this story is about her trying to figure out how to be more of a hero, not necessarily a superhero, though she does have a costume. She
does.
She is full on going for the Wolverine look and outfit and stuff, which is very different for her, you know, to have a like colorful costume and be in the
Yeah,
spotlight.
because I mean, I just know her specifically from X-Force, and she was always in like the leather and the dark clothes and things like that.
and even then, that was one of the only times she ever wore a mask. She's not that kind of character.
Right.
But now to have her be like taking on an identity, she's clearly growing up and she's taking on a new role in the Marvel Universe. And it's interesting to see her adjusting her behavior as a result of that and as a part of her arc. So it's interesting, and I really like it. And I've always thought X-23 was an interesting character who's just gotten more and more interesting as different writers have had a chance to sort of
Flesh her out.
exactly
And
and
build that out.
and evolve her and give her an arc. And it's also interesting because she's a little bit closer now to original Wolverine when we first met him. She's a little bit more of the surly loner because Logan evolved. He took on new roles in the world and he became a teacher, and that was great. That was great character development. Then he died. But she's in a different position and she's going to have a different arc. And it's interesting. I like the comic a lot, and the art is fantastic. And I cannot say enough for how well the action scenes are drawn. It's just so well done. I was reading them again today and I was just blown away by some of the staging and choreography. It's very understated. It's not as flashy as some of your more energetic superhero comics artists, but the way it handles, because Wolverine doesn't do a lot of like super jumping. Right. She's just good at like cutting and stabbing and fighting people who have guns. It's just great stuff.
That's awesome.
Definitely, guys, check out All New Wolverine. I really like the direction they're going.
Sounds like a great comic. All right. Well, those were our polls, and that'll take us into our main segment. Mike, kick things off.
Superman Meets The Quik Bunny.
We've said this before on the podcast, but oftentimes when we come to record these, I have no idea what the story is going to be, let alone what it's called.
Sometimes I give you a hint, like, oh, the Deadpool movie's coming out. We're going to talk about Deadpool,
Yeah. Or like even for this, you're like, oh, it's like a Superman story. But what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is with that title?
Oh, it's because Superman meets the Quik Bunny.
Oh, the Quik Bunny.
Yeah.
Like the Nestle Quik Bunny?
The Nesquik Bunny.
No. I was kidding. No, you're serious?
Yes.
No.
It's the Nesquik Bunny.
What?
He wasn't called the Nesquik Bunny yet. He was still called the Quik Bunny. This is 1987.
You're kidding me.
You guys saw it in the album art, but Jay is just seeing it now for the first time.
That is bonkers crazy.
The title of this story is Quick Thinking.
Oh, what?
It's spelled with no C in quick.
I'm so excited and terrified at the same time.
It opens in Metropolis, and out of nowhere, there's a flash flood, a freak storm that just suddenly starts flooding Metropolis. And Superman has to save a kid because that's what he does.
Yeah.
We cut over to the Quick Club,
Sure.
spelled QLUB.
Wait, QULB? What?
QLUB.
Sure.
Quick Club.
Oh, God.
And it's a bunch of kids. It's a bunch of multicultural kids who hang out with the Quick Rabbit.
Sure.
And they're building.
Wait. Just a bunch of children hang out with this rabbit in a club?
They're building a clubhouse. They're building a treehouse.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a treehouse. I was imagining some kind of like seedy nightclub, but then just
Why?
filling it with a bunch of children.
I should.
Well, you said club first, so that was established.
Your
and then
mind,
you said it was filled with
when
children.
I'm talking about a Nesquik tie-in,
Look, this could
sponsored
be
by Nestle.
A Nuari type Quik Bunny, you know?
It is 1987.
Yeah.
Nope, that doesn't help.
Nope.
I guess in comics at that point. Anyway, these kids are building this clubhouse, and the Quik Rabbit is having some Nesquik, because that's a thing. Well, Quik at this point. Nestle Quik.
Ah.
And then they turn on the TV, and oh, look, they see Superman in the rain, saving these kids. And they decide, well, you know what? We should try to help him. We should do something to try to help. It's Quik Bunny's idea.
For the children to go out in the storm
And he
to
says,
help Superman.
And they say, we're just kids. And he says, just kids? Come on, we're the Quik Club. We're the best. And he goes to them one by one. One of them knows a lot about geography.
Now, do you think...
He picked the perfect site for the clubhouse.
Now, Mike, do you think anybody, in retrospect, went back to this and were like, is this comic encouraging children to run out into dangerous weather? Was this a wrong idea for... whatever.
Robin is a thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to have a kid
I guess it's
encouraged to run into danger, the kid who, fights people with guns is like...
That's true, I guess.
Anyway, Ronnie knows all about geography. He picked the perfect site for our clubhouse, spelled with a Q. Patty, you're in the science club at school. Even I couldn't believe some of the stuff you whipped up for this place. It's got cool, electronic, computers and things on the inside.
Whoa, Quik Bunny has a bat family. This is crazy.
It gets weirder. Miguel, you know more about languages and communication than anyone I know. You even wrote our club code. Yeah, code is spelled normal.
We gotta clarify what is spelled with Q's and what is not.
And Maureen, your knowledge about computers and how they work has made our club, with a Q, what it is today.
Wait a second. So one knows geography, so I assume maps and navigation.
Uh-huh.
One knows communications.
Uh-huh.
One's big into science.
Uh-huh.
Mike, is this a Star Trek crew, but as the Quik Bunny crew?
I mean, kind of.
Okay.
Because then they type some commands into one of their computers, and the Quik Club sprouts helicopter blades.
Oh, God.
And flies away.
What?
Yeah. Now it's the Quik Copter. Spelled with a Q, even though it does not have the sound of a Q. Whatever, they go to Metropolis. Turns out Metropolis is being menaced by Weather Wizard.
Wait, what?
Weather Wizard, that's why there's storms and things.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't know he ever left Flash's territory, but I guess he did.
Well, I don't know that this is canon.
Yeah, sure.
And he's using his magic weather wand to send lightning after Superman, so Superman has to dart through the city to draw the lightning away from citizens. Can you
right.
follow the path in Metropolis to draw the lightning out?
No.
There's a maze.
There's a maze in the comic?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you have to...
If you get it wrong, do you kill civilians, Mike? Is that what happens?
I guess. Because it says, did you help Superman successfully foil the Weather Wizard's electrical trap?
Civilians?
It's a
How many civilians did you murder?
Oh no, I ran into this building. That was an orphanage.
You sure they didn't have this also when they released Man of Steel? They didn't have a supplement for that?
I'm not sure about anything that happened in that movie.
Unfortunate.
Anyway, he draws the lightning away, but he can't figure out how this storm started so quickly. Superman can't. And then
He doesn't understand Weather Wizard's powers?
he hasn't seen Weather Wizard. in
Oh,
action.
okay, gotcha,
He doesn't know that's what's happening.
Gotcha.
It's not like he can scan the city super fast with his speed or X-ray vision.
Or X-ray vision or senses or anything.
Yeah, it's not like that's a thing he can
He only
do.
has flight, right? Poor Superman.
The Quik Copter shows up. It also has rocket boosters on the bottom.
Sure. Why not? It is the Enterprise, I believe, eventually.
I mean, it kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
and then they look at some code. There's the equipment's malfunctioning. The printout's coming out all scrambled. Wait, it looks like a code, and I know all about these. Let me try to decipher it. Can you help Miguel?
Oh, yes. I was half hoping this is going to be another puzzle.
Unscramble the following names at left and write them in the blanks, except at the bottom it says W blank 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 H blank blank W blank Z blank blank D, and you have to fill in the other letters. But we've already seen Weather Wizard.
Yeah.
We know it's Weather Wizard.
Yeah, how many other things are going to have two W's back to back?
And a Z.
And a Z.
And then you just turn the next page. Or you don't even turn the page. It's just the facing page. Hey, you guys notice that? The circled letters put together in the right order spell Weather Wizard.
What a surprise.
We should have known. is the next line of dialogue.
Wow.
Anyway, they fly and they try to warn Superman, but Weather Wizard freezes Superman in a cube of ice.
Sure.
And he starts falling towards the water. Oh no. So they reach out an extending mechanical arm from the Quik Club house and pick him up. And then he smashes through the ice and he says, "Thanks for your help, but I'm invulnerable and no harm would have come to me if I'd hit the ground."
Also, I'm hitting water. I'm Superman.
And they're like, "You mean we should have gone after the Weather Wizard?" He's like, "No, he's a dangerous criminal." And they're like, "But wait, we know where he went." And they have a theory about where he went. When he left, he said he would capitalize when he left Metropolis. That must mean he's heading for Washington, D.C.
What?
Because
they're making Batman 66 type leaps?
It's basically an episode of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. That's basically what's happening right now.
Wow.
And Superman's like, "Well, I'll go check out your theory at super speed." And he flies away. And they're like, "Wow, we just met him and we helped him." And Quick Rabbit's like, "Yes, we did, didn't we? Who's to say we couldn't help him again? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?"
Involving ourselves further in this adventure?
But they can't use the Quikcopter because
it ran out of imagination power?
They can't make it all the way down to DC in the Quikcopter, I guess. So it turns into a balloon, a hot air balloon.
What?
I don't know why that's better.
Wait a second. Does it turn into a hot air balloon, or does a hot air balloon come out from the top of it?
Does it really matter?
I mean, I don't know.
A hot air balloon comes out of the top of it.
All right, good. Okay. Look, I can accept a lot of things. Some crazy science treehouse, but a magical crazy treehouse? I don't know about that, Mike.
Anyway, they go to Washington, D.C., and there's a tornado there.
How long does it take them to get there in a hot air weather balloon?
I don't know. Superman gets there first, but not by a bunch.
Okay.
And there's a moment where there's this tornado. He says, "Oh, well, looks like the people in the city have been evacuated safely. Good thing this comic called that out in advance." You'd think more Superman things would do. We're still mad about Man of Steel.
Yeah, we're still mad about it.
It's been like 3 years.
Yeah, we shouldn't be, but we are.
Anyway,
Strange.
the tornado blows by, and then, oh wait, every object on that street just disappeared. It'll take all my super memory to remember how many items there were.
Oh my God.
Can you remember? Without
Listeners?
Without looking back at page 10, can you make a list of all the objects that have disappeared? But here's the problem. There's an art gaffe. So when all these objects that disappeared, 2 cars, a mailbox, fire hydrant, a lamp, and a tree fly at him, that tree wasn't missing. The fence is missing. A little art goof there. Also, again, my eyes just have to go directly down, and Superman's just there going, 6 items. That's right, I remember. Like, this is a weird... It's not Dora the Explorer where you can like pause and actually wait for the kids to have a response. People are in control of how fast they read a comic, and like, you literally cannot stop me from flipping back to the last page and being like, yeah, 6 things.
Yeah,
there are 6 things missing. Also, there's like an extra car. This is like, it's not well done. Anyway, he rounds up all these items in the sky, but then the Washington Monument starts tipping over, so he just drops them and goes to catch that. But he can't fight the weather. But like the Weather Wizard's just, laughing and
making tornadoes in his face.
Making tornadoes and stuff. And this is when not blimp, that paints an entirely wrong image.
Yeah.
The hot air balloon arrives, and they're like, "All right, so what do we do?" And one of them says, "I read in a science book once that the safest spot to be in during a tornado is its eye." And that's not true.
That's not.
That's a hurricane she's thinking of.
Yeah. Tornadoes, if you drive into the center of them, you are going into a tornado.
Yeah.
Which is not recommended.
She's quite dumb. But anyway,
look, they built a magic hot air balloon treehouse magic thing.
They go into the eye of the tornado, and they scan the environment.
Where they're like, oh yeah, that's a lot of wind. That's mostly wind.
And it's basically looks like a word find. But if you shade in all the cues, you can see the silhouette of the Weather Wizard.
What?
Well, you see a silhouette of like a traffic walking man, basically. It doesn't look like the Weather Wizard at all. Anyway, they go and Quick Rabbit.
This is teaching kids not to know how to spot the Weather Wizard, and we know he's a big danger out there,
This is
Mike.
teaching a whole bunch of dummies, because a lot of the things they're teaching you are just not helpful. So anyway, Quik Bunny jumps out of the hot air balloon.
Oh boy.
To distract the Weather Wizard.
Oh my God, this is the issue where Quik Bunny died.
And he starts hopping around. Yeah, he didn't get renamed to Nesquik Bunny. He died.
He died.
That guy died.
So he's like the Barry Allen of the Nesquik Bunnies, and then we have the Wally West as what replaces
It's
him.
funny you say that because he's distracting the Weather Wizard by jumping around him so fast. It looks like there's more than one of him.
Whoa! Wait a second. Is there like a Nesquik offshoot, like an Infinity Crisis, where all the Nesquik bunnies have to die in some kind of cataclysmic event?
I mean, no, but that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
But that doesn't exist,
Yeah, so
sadly.
sad. That's so
anyway,
sad.
they distract Weather Wizard so the tornado disappears, and then Weather Wizard runs away on a cloud, and he says, he's
Sure.
he says, first I must recover from this defeat. I assure you that I will take care of you and your friends, rabbits. And for now-
How did he get defeated? What was his defeat?
Oh, he was distracted, so the tornado stopped.
Sure.
I don't know what his plan was.
Did none of the other destruction going on around him distract him, but said bunny running around him distracted
Well,
him?
the distraction, like all that other stuff that was happening, was part of his plan.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cool.
he decides he's going to Egypt, and he shouts that he's going to Egypt. I don't know.
Don't follow me. I meant to add that at the end, but I forgot.
Anyway, Superman picks up Quik Bunny and takes him back to the Quik Clubhouse. And he says, thanks for your concern, kids. And I do realize this is probably a setup, but right now I just do not have any better leads.
Also, I cannot stress enough, do not follow me.
Oh, he
Egypt.
never says that.
Never says
He
that?
never says, don't follow me.
Kids,
He
I
just
understand
says-
that I forgot to say it the first time, but I felt like it was obvious. But now that you've shown up here twice, I'm going to have to say this. Do not follow me. You are children.
Never happens.
Okay,
Just
great.
says, thanks for your help so long, and thanks again, Quik Club.
Thanks again, meaning please help me as much as possible in the future.
Well, that's what Quik Bunny decides to do. He says, we've already helped Superman several times today, and nobody said we shouldn't follow him more than one time, did they?
Was there any pause where one of the kids was like raised their hand, like the one that like never speaks was like, shouldn't I tell my mom? Shut up, Timmy. We're going to Egypt.
Nope. Instead, they just turned the Quik Club into a rocket.
Sure.
Sorry, the jet plane, but it's got rockets on it.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, you can draw the Quik jet plane by connecting the dots.
No listeners know how many times we've flubbed words because of the letter Q.
Because of this damn Quik-themed... Anyway, they fly there, and they meet this guy, this, dude in a traditional Egyptian wrappings and stuff, but he says something in all these jumbled letters. And Miguel says, oh, he's not speaking Egyptian. He's afraid Weather Wizard might hurt his family, so he's speaking in code.
All right.
Which is, A, super dark.
Yes.
B, the code is somehow something Miguel knows where each letter is assigned to a different letter, but it's not like, oh, everything's offset by 10. It's just random so that you can spell out. So it's like ABC spells the.
Miguel, what was your life like before this?
What-
I was in deep cover
Yeah,
in
this is
Spain.
Super weird. Anyway, it says the Weather Wizard is going to the Great Pyramid, or to the Old Pyramid. The Old Pyramid.
Yeah, there's only one of those,
Just
right?
the Old Pyramid. Anyway, it's snowing in Egypt now.
Okay, sure.
It's Weather Wizard. And they get there, and Superman's fighting a mummy. No explanation given.
Great. So to be clear,
Yeah.
Weather Wizard, power set of Weather Wizard, is to create whatever said wizard would like to create, right?
To manipulate the weather to his demands, yes.
Yes. Is there some offshoot of that power that, in case of snow in sandy areas, occasionally will spawn mummies?
I think you know the answer to that question, Jay.
The answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is I don't know why there's a mummy. It's because they're in Egypt. Anyway, Quik Bunny jumps down, grabs one of the wrappings off the mummy, pulls on it, and it just disintegrates.
Wait,
Like-
who does this?
Quik Bunny. The mummy unravels, and just dust flutters away. Because it wasn't like a dude in a mummy costume.
It was just a dust mummy thing.
It was just an animated corpse.
And Superman was struggling with this animated corpse.
Well, Superman is vulnerable to magic, but...
Yeah, but it's still just a dude, apparently just a bunch of dust in a
I
wrapping.
feel like his heat vision could have done the job.
Probably anything could have done the job. Anyways,
His freeze breath might have done something.
he could have clapped really hard and then he probably would have exploded.
Could have boxed the mummy's ears. Anyway, Superman starts taking apart the pyramid.
All right.
Just
Sure.
taking it apart to get to
Just
the
one
Weather
of our
Wizard.
wonders of the world. Go ahead, Superman.
It's okay. There's only one pyramid, so we're fine.
Yeah, we're good.
Anyway, he takes it apart and he finds the Weather Wizard inside. And so the weather wizard...
Rats, how did he know I was here?
If only I hadn't told those kids where I was.
And then also made it snow.
Anyway, he turns all the snow into water by bringing out the sun. It immediately melts all the water. So it starts flooding, and like the kids are like, "Oh no, we'll drown!" And Superman just like picks them up out of the water, like super easily.
Why didn't they use their magic treehouse that they've been driving around in?
Oh, it's in the
Turn
air.
it like a submarine or something.
It's up in the air.
Sure.
Jay, it can't do everything.
You're right. What was I thinking?
Anyway, Weather Wizard finds a map, an old map of the world. Well, you know, Asia and Africa and North America, the world from Egypt's perspective.
Sure.
Because it's not like they had boats or anything. Whatever. Anyway, and he says, like, you know, if I can't have the entire world, a little piece of it is better than nothing. And he's getting away, but when he realizes Superman has seen him, he accidentally drops this map of the world that was carved into the stone, that he just took this block of stone, I guess. And he drops it, and it smashes, and the kids have to put it back together, and it's like, can you name the countries based on their shapes?
Wow.
And then they do, but they're like, wait, China's missing. He's going to China.
It would have been great if Superman was standing over this being like, I just don't know where he's going. If you kids could just help me out, that would be great.
Also, he flew away shouting, today China, tomorrow the world.
All right,
and I
seriously?
feel like no one heard him.
Seriously?
But I don't know how no one heard him. One person has big-ass ears, and the other person I know has exceptional hearing.
Wow. That's insane.
Anyway, Superman rebuilds the pyramid, so that was nice of him.
That was good.
And he
Glad
goes-
he did that before he left. What about that full flood that happened?
Oh, it's gone. It's just sand now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I guess it only affected the mummy populace.
Yeah, I guess. This is a weird comic. Anyway, Superman flies away, says thanks, never says don't follow me. So, of course, Quik Bunny says, we've come this far, let's go. Next stop, the Orient.
Again, Mr. Bunny, I have to stress this. I have not eaten anything, and I don't think my parents know where I am. I really think we should call somebody.
And they follow the Yangtze River, and... Yeah, am I pronouncing that right? Probably not.
Sure.
And then, I don't know, I've been to China. I still don't know the pronunciation of the places I went. And all of a sudden it's hailing. Oh no, it must be the weather wizard probably. They turn the clubhouse into a boat, but they're still in midair. So they have to like sail it down through the air into the river.
That's how boats work, in the air.
It makes less sense than it sounds, and it doesn't sound like it makes much sense.
No.
So they land in the water. Quik Bunny calls it a perfect one-point landing, which is not a term.
Yeah.
It also implies that they failed.
Yeah, because one is... Okay.
Anyway, they don't know where in China Weather Wizard is going. They're just now realizing that China is
They just landed in a river?
a huge... Well, it's a big river, but they landed in a huge country. They don't know where Weather Wizard is. They don't know where Superman is. But they're like, wait, we can simply turn on the radio and, figure out what's going on in the world. That sounds logical. Let's try it.
Let's turn on world radio.
Oh, no. It's coming out in Chinese. Of course it is. We're in China. Give me the headset.
Oh, Miguel,
Yeah.
you and your spy tactics really came in handy on this mission.
He translates what they're saying. This one's easy. They said that there's a strange and unexplained hailstorm blanketing all of China. We already know that, Miguel. They also said Superman has been spotted near the Great Wall. Again. That thing's huge.
And not very specific.
So, one of those other kids, I don't remember the other boy's name, pulls out his atlas and navigates them along the river. Feel like they could have gotten there faster.
If they were still in a rocket ship.
I guess it's still hailing.
Or a hot air balloon. Any of those
I
things.
guess it's still hailing. So they go to help Superman. Again, there's a maze as they sail through China. And they get to the Great Wall, and there's Superman fighting off hailstones, trying to keep them from doing any damage to the Great Wall.
All of them? All of the hailstones? Against the entire Great Wall of China.
That's what you question?
Anyways.
It's Superman.
Yeah, sure.
You know that there was
he couldn't beat a mummy about, a few minutes ago. So.
There's a Superman movie where he casts beams out of his eyes that rebuild the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's very true. Those movies are very strange.
Oh, boy.
It wasn't one of the recent ones. It was an older one.
It wasn't the Reeve movies, though.
Yeah.
It was a Christopher Reeve movie?
Yeah.
Which one?
3, I think?
Probably.
But then again, 2 is when he pulls that piece of cellophane off his chest and wraps up Zod.
Look, he flies fast, he's super strength, and occasionally makes people forget things by kissing them, and he can go travel back in time by going really, really fast, Mike. All reasonable powers.
That you named my next 2 arguments.
Oh.
Anyway, they're trying to figure out how to stop the Weather Wizard permanently, but, Quik Bunny just can't come up with any ideas, and the kids
You
are
sure isn't a shot of Miguel in the corner, like loading a pistol reluctantly? It's like,
she's got a Luger.
It has come to this again. Oh, Miguel, we promised ourselves we wouldn't get back into this game.
And they say, you're the one who told us we could think of anything as long as we wanted to put our minds to it. Wait, I know the perfect thing to take the pressure off you, CB.
Wait, what?
A nice tall glass of Nestle Quik.
Bye.
So it's basically his Popeye moment,
Yeah.
But he drinks it, and his ears do that thing that happens when he drinks it, where they like twist around, like whoop.
And he turns into a helicopter?
Kind of.
Sure.
No, not really. They just wrap up.
Okay, great.
And then he's like, wait, I have an idea. Ronnie and Patty, Ronnie, that was the other kid's name. Start the computers and program Operation Quick Thinking into it. Of course, there's no C.
Oh, my God.
Miguel and Maureen gather together every scrap of metal we have lying around the club, spelled with a Q. And we're going to teach that weather wizard.
It's amazing that this strives so hard to teach things like where China is in the world and mummies totally exist normally.
It actually doesn't teach you where China is. It just teaches you the shapes of Italy and England.
Oh, okay.
And
but I just find it amazing that it also completely stripped most of the letters out of most of the words used in this comic.
And this next thing is going to teach you another bogus thing about science, because Superman's fighting hailstones and he sees the silhouette of the Quik Bunny. The Quik Bunny. Screw it. And
all fans of the Quik Bunny, or whatever it's called, please do not write angry letters.
Oh, trust me, they won't. Superman sees the silhouette and says, it is who I think it is. What's he doing on the wall in the line of fire? Wait a minute, now I understand. That's not the Quik Bunny at all. It's a decoy. And then the weather wizard sees this silhouette, who's, by the way, holding a quick thing, a cup of Nesquik.
Sure.
And he's like, that's the Quik Bunny again. I've had enough from him and his friends. They've messed up my plans for the last time. This lightning bolt ought to take care of that meddlesome bunny once and for all. And he shoots lightning at it, but it turns out it's not the real Quik Bunny. It's a metal Quik Bunny.
Where did the metal Quik Bunny come from, Mike?
You remember earlier when they said they were going to gather together every scrap of metal and wire they have lying around the club?
Okay.
That was it.
Cool.
That was the explanation. I mean, they're not using the helicopter blades anymore, so maybe that.
Sure.
I don't know. It's clearly got rivets on it. I don't know how they've put this together in, I would guess, minutes. Anyway.
Amazing.
Then the lightning, which I think came from the sky or maybe the wand, reflects back at Weather Wizard, which is not how lightning works.
Or electricity.
Then Quik Bunny flies in because his ears are apparently acting like wings.
What?
And like dragonfly wings.
All right.
And
No, you know what? Not all right, but go on.
And then, while the Weather Wizard is unbeknownst, swaps out the Weather Wizard's wand with a straw. So the Weather Wizard tries to
that crafty rabbit.
And he tries to wait, without my wand I'll fall to the ground, and this wand isn't working at all. But then Superman catches him.
Oh, I was half hoping he would have died.
No, then he snaps his neck, so it's fine.
Ooh, nice.
And then he says, you take care of the wand while I fly this bum to the proper authorities. And then, wow, a real magic wand, but we won't be needing this. We've got enough magic in the Quik Club already. Right, guys? You said it, QB. It takes real magic to whip up this Quik Bunny decoy, which saved the day. Hooray! Hooray for us, and hooray for Superman.
I really have to get home. My parents are deathly worried. Shut up, Timmy.
The next day, when the weather and everything else have gone back to normal.
Have gone back to normal?
The grammar in this is questionable at best.
I don't know why I worried about that.
And then they all have a quick drinking contest where Superman and the Quik Rabbit try to drink quick faster. And of course, guess who wins? The Quik Bunny.
Surprise.
And Superman says, you win, Quik Bunny. Thanks for all the quick and all the help yesterday. I couldn't have done it without you.
If only we got paid for every time we said quick in this specific episode.
Someone did.
Jeez, it's amazing. Now, I'm sorry, I'm reading this contract here. It says we have to write quick 250 times? That's going to be impossible. Oh, you just wait.
Don't trust me. 32-page comic, you can do it. You can make it happen. Wow. And then there's an ad. It says, there's only one person in the world.
There's an ad necessary?
Yes.
At the end of the Quik Rabbit comic?
It's just the Quik Rabbit drinking, I assume, chocolate milk. It's in black and white, so you can't tell.
Right.
And then just all the different brands of stuff they have below him. And he's saying, while he's drinking and his ears are doing that twirling thing, there's only one person in the world who loves Quik as much as me, and that's you. Rich, creamy, chocolatey Nesquik. No wonder it's the bunny's favorite. And yours. Nestle Quik, the taste that gets you going.
Wow.
That's a comic that I found.
Wow. That is just insane. All right. Well, that was a great and absolutely bonkers nuts main segment. And that'll take us to our game, Would You Rather? All right, this is the game Would You Rather. This is where we take the normal game of Would You Rather and inject comics into it.
Like we do with everything.
So, Mike, would you rather allow your sister to date Gambit or Deadpool?
Why do I have to do either? My sister's married and she lives in Virginia. Why is she dating either? Okay, for the hypothetical.
We're rolling hypotheticals. And again, not allow, but, be comfortable with.
I mean, Gambit, I guess?
You sure about that?
Here's the thing. I don't have any evidence that Gambit's a...
Are you sure about that? Think long and hard, Mike.
Okay.
Yep.
As far as I'm aware,
Mm-hmm.
and I could be missing something, Gambit is just sleazy, but he has not done anything over the line.
Are we sure about that?
No, we're not. But
Okay.
he is...
Are you saying Deadpool's gone over the line, Mike?
not in a physical, not in a relationship
That's
way.
what I'm saying.
He is a mass murderer.
Yes, true.
He is a psychopath.
Yeah,
Leans a little bit more on the scatological humor than I think we would favor.
right.
I think Remy LeBeau could... Okay,
Is it weird that I have some type of joy out of forcing you to
Here's-
choose Gambit?
here's the reason. Because Gambit you can look at as the bad boy, maybe you could change, and that's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing.
That's a thing that someone could date and be like,
And
oh,
I'm
that
sure
was
there's a lot of things, or that is one thing that Fox is banking on.
Yeah, that's like Gambit. That's Gambit's thing. He's gonna be your last bad boyfriend, and you're like, all right, that was
fun.
that was
but,
fun. Now I got to move on. Deadpool's just your last boyfriend.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just like
it's basically it.
he's gonna die. You're gonna die. He's gonna kill you.
Is Deadpool gonna kill you though? Because I don't think Deadpool, and I've read
That's
some Deadpool
why he's
comics.
dating you.
See, I've read some Deadpool comics. I don't think he's never killed a love interest, to my knowledge. I could be very wrong.
I could be wrong too, but I feel like if he's gonna date someone, it's because he was hired to kill them, and he's taking the long game.
No,
That's the kind of thing he does, though.
But also, most of the time, Deadpool just dates people because they will acceptably date him.
Yeah, I like that to think that my sister wouldn't date Deadpool.
I would like to think that she wouldn't date either, but if you had to pick one,
I don't have to.
you don't have to. But in this hypothetical situation, and
Gambit.
for any listeners,
Gambit.
it doesn't have to be a sister. It could be you. It could be a friend.
Yeah, I would also rather.
Which one would you approve?
I'd rather date Gambit. I think he would take.
Now, Mike, let's flip that. Which one would you rather date?
I just don't think if Deadpool doesn't qualify to get into the X-Men, who are
Wasn't he on the Avengers for half a second?
everyone's been an Avenger for at least half a second.
Sure.
But Gambit's been a member of the X-Men for years. That dude's been around, and that had he been
Now, are we saying their review process is better?
then what? Than my sister's?
No.
I hope not.
I mean, is it better than Avengers? I mean, I guess. Almost every X-Men villain has been an X-Man.
Yeah, 'cause-
Charles Xavier ran that team.
Yeah, but Gambit was on a source of redemption. He was on a quest for
Yeah.
redemption, and Deadpool's just a monster and a maniac.
But he wasn't always a monster and a maniac, Mike, and maybe you can change him. Maybe there's something in there.
You cannot. The something in there is another personality who's talking to him.
But maybe that
all the
personality
time.
just really, loves long walks on the beach. And
Maybe.
Netflix.
But there's another personality in there too. He's got a bunch of voices in his head.
He does.
He's way crazy.
And I guess if you really enjoyed Chimichangas, he's kind of a safe bet, but
I would never put the word safe bet next to Deadpool.
next to Deadpool.
Does not matter the context.
What about Gambit's accent?
If you can get through it, you deserve each other.
That's true. But what if you can't?
Then-
and again,
then-
either or.
You know what? I didn't say they had to be boyfriend and girlfriend. They
You
just had to
didn't?
date. Just
That's
means they
true.
have to go on a couple dates, and then I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
No.
You're a muttering mess of mouth farts. It doesn't matter to me.
But I have to do this because I've been contractually obligated by some weird game that I played one time.
Weird. Weird thing.
Strange how it controls your life so closely.
It's like the monkey's paw.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
We cannot deny its will.
Now, you can say that Deadpool's dates would probably they'd probably be exciting, I have to say.
Sure. I'm sorry.
Right?
Are you looking for some sort of confirmation that they'd be better?
Yeah. That's
No.
what I'm shooting for.
No.
Look, Mike, I already won because we've admitted that Gambit is better than somebody else in some kind of romantic situation. So no matter what, I feel accomplished.
What you've done to get that victory is wrong and unethical, and I think today we violated the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, for a lot of different reasons.
This is unhealthy. Gambit's a
Believe
bad
that
boy
bunny's
with
on
a
a
heart
watch
of gold. He's a bad boy with a heart of gold.
So I think we've come to the conclusion that Gambit would be definitely the one we would rather either ourselves date or allow a family member or friend date.
Just imagine that this is what we talked about in our Valentine's Day episode when we talk about a Deadpool comic.
Wow.
You jumped the gun by an episode, Jay.
Yes! I can tell the future. I knew it. All right, guys.
Is that the takeaway?
Yeah, I think that's the positive takeaway we can all walk away with. Now, guys, that was episode 46 of Because Comics. We'll be posting a new episode every other week. If you'd like to download more episodes or check out other similar podcasts, head over to partialarc.com. That's arc with a C. Of course, you can email us any questions at becausecomics@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr, all at Partial Arc. And be sure to check out more content from our comic boy wonder, Mike Christensen, at partialarc.com, where he writes articles every Tuesday and Thursday.
Both those days.
Thanks for listening, and remember,
Han Solo killed a guy. I mean, like, I heard the other guy might have shot first, but, like, a bunch of people said Han, like, shot someone for no reason. Like,
just blatantly in a
he's
bar.
our friend. Like, do we call someone? Like, what do we do?
Because comics.